What is going on, everybody? Just let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please. Good to be back. Where is this? I'm actually trying to find this. Oh, here we have it. Okay, cool. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the session. Great to be back. Sorry if I continue to clear my throat here. For some reason, just woken up with a little bit of a chesty cough. And it's not COVID, I can guarantee you. I've done a test and everything is crushed there. Now, we have 425 members. Can I just ask all of you, please, if you love me, hit the like button. And if you hate me, hit the dislike button. Okay? And there's only 53 likes and dislikes with 425 people watching. So it would be great. If you love me, hit like. If you hate me, hit dislike. And everything will be fantastic. Continue to share the love for me. So, wow. What an absolute day yesterday. I mean, if there are any fundamentalists here that actually know what happened yesterday with the markets, please let me know. Because, boy, oh boy, some of the moves that were anticipated just totally just done whatever it wanted to do yesterday, which was absolutely crazy. But nonetheless, we did see some good moves, so hopefully you got into them. We're going to go over some of the analysis for today. As you can see here, we've got new color coding. I've done this with the members this morning on the live session, and we color coded red, blue, green, amber, and purple. And gold. Oi! There you go. That's a sign. Wow. Okay, guys. This is looking fantaculous. Oh, you know something here. This is crazy. Is this actually going to happen? This trade idea we spoke about this morning, and we wanted to see pound continue pushing bullish on the break of 152.94 here, to see this continue higher. And I think once we start breaking above 152.94, we continue back up to 153.30. We have a lot of bullish momentum and a new 4H candle open. I think this is a serious trade idea here. Now, I'm not giving signals, but I really do like it. And I think it goes for my plans that I wanted. And here below 152.83 here. So it'll be 10 pips stop loss on that one. 152.843 here. The idea now is if this continues pushing higher above these levels, we continue back up to 153.30. And it's really nice to see this consensus actually, because I spoke about it this morning. We did reject on the previous 4H candle here, as you can see, but the move from yesterday was this bearish movement to the downside and then price failing to continue lower. This impulsive move, in my mind, is one of the things that's going to happen. We're going to have this continuation to the downside, which we didn't, or we're going to have this correction on this market back to the upside. And by the looks of it, this bullish candle here is pushing higher. The rejection level that we're going to face is going to be 152.95 here. But if it does start to push higher above this, especially moving into like the New York session, pre-New York, then we should see this continue higher, at least back to a retest level. And the way you've got to think about this is if the market is creating a structural low and then going to create the retest to continue lower, then we're going to see the markets at least come back to this level before continuing down. So the idea now is to see price push strong, close above these levels here to look for a continuation higher. Or some might take the immediate breakout. Some might wait for the retest. It really is up to you. But in my mind, I do like this trade idea, and I think that there's a very high chance we'll continue higher. So the bells started ringing for this one. We will see how this pans out. GU also, we called buys on this morning on the breakout of this structural high. The problem is with GU, when I was looking at it, is this current candle was pushing bullish and then in the end resulted in being a bearish candle. And immediately after, you can see that the retest of 37.78 has just pushed this market up 30 pips, which is crazy. But the confluence that we get here from GU alongside GJ is a very, very strong confluence, because if this candle is going to push higher, then the idea is that GJ will continue to push higher as well. So fingers crossed on this one. But before we go into the market analysis, let's take a look at gold, because boy oh boy was this an absolute banging call yesterday. We know that we wanted to see price breaking above 1812 to see a continuation to 1822, but to be brutally honest with you, we knew there was a high chance it would reject it, and it did. But we got those targets to those highs. But if you look at those red lines there, baby, we wanted to see this market come back to 1794 for a bounce, and that right there, my friends, is a 100 pip move from the bounce. Now remember, you don't take the trade immediately. You wait for price to break above a level of resistance to identify the momentum shift, and then once this starts breaking higher here, guys, you have an absolute beautiful move back to the upside. So hopefully some of you was able to take advantage of this trade idea yesterday. Absolutely fantastic bounce. Let's see if we get back up to 1812 today. I mean, personally, if the markets have closed bullish, the sentiment of the market is going to correct this impulsive move from yesterday. We're going to see this market back to 1812 for sure. And that will be an absolute fantastic opportunity for the New York session, okay? Also, we took a look at USD-JPY. We called the continuation sells yesterday. But I'll be honest, the structure of this market wasn't absolutely fantastic. So to be honest with you, I think this one's on a back burner. USD-JPY is ranging massively between 110.99 and 110.40. If you didn't get in the sales yesterday, then I don't know what you're planning to do today, because it's not clear. The markets at the moment are creating resistance at structural lows, and at the moment in a bearish structure creating bullish behavior. So personally, this is not something that we want to be messing around with. Let's just see what happens with this one, and wait a little bit more patiently. But I'm going to talk about my trades yesterday, because do you remember I mentioned that I'm looking to take trades if the market continues pushing bullish here, and that's exactly what I did. I will jump down to the 1 minute time frame where these trades were taken, and just highlight with you what I did. First, we'll stop at the 15-minute time frame, and then we'll scale down. So yesterday I mentioned I'm going to look for continuation buys back up to 1813 if we start breaking above some of these key levels here in the market. So once price started to break above 1808 here, that's when I started to look for these buys, because you can see here this was a level of resistance, and once price creates that level of resistance and you get that close above, you only anticipate price to continue pushing higher. All right, now I didn't take the immediate breakout at this stage. I did wait a little bit longer to jump into some of these trades here. But if you take now a look at the 1 minute time frame, you'll see what I did, and it'll make a lot more sense to you. It was a bit fishy. I'm not going to say it was the cleanest of trades here, and it just is what it is. But let me just be transparent with you. I wait for price to break this level and close above. Now, in terms of pattern perspective, I'm looking for price to come back to this key level. And then once price comes back to this key level, what am I identifying? I'm identifying the bullish behavior continuing from the 4H time frame down to the 15-minute break close above, and then a pattern on the 1 minute time frame, which creates the retest and the bullish behavior here. All right, so now I have this bullish behavior. The idea is if price starts to break above major highs in the market, we continue to make a new high. So that's the new high that I'm looking for. Now, obviously, this is a level in the market where you're going to find the most resistance, because that's just how the market moves. Once price comes into a level of resistance or support, you get a reaction. I didn't take profits at this stage. I actually had this set for profits up to the 4H highs, which was up here. But as you can see, the market rejected this violently. Now, I didn't manage my trade, and I'm not managed my trades for July. At the moment, I'm just holding my trades for stop loss or break even, stop loss or take profit. And in some instances, I'll go stop loss half. But in this instance, it was just a hold. So I'm holding this trade. Now, price comes rallying back to this key level here, and I'm thinking, what the heck is happening? I really don't know what's happening here. Did I enter too late? I don't think so, because it's a break above the highs with a safe stop loss below the previous structure. Now price is pulling back. What's going to happen? Well, one or two things. Price is going to continue to push down. It's going to stop me out of my first trade. Or price is going to respect the major key level, which is this black line, and reject it and continue bullish. So once price started to reject this level, I entered immediately. It's aggressive entry, but you know, it's down to me how I take my trades. And if at this moment in time I feel like the market's going to hold this level, then I can get a better opportunity to have a much greater range to the upside. So I hit buy. Now after hitting buy on this, you can see that the market's rejected this level immediately. Now this is the 1 minute time frame, and you can expect this to happen often. After rejecting this level, I went straight into profit on both trades, and I said to myself, this key level is being a pain in the butt. You can see price came back to this level here, and it just didn't want to break it immediately on the push up on this 1 minute candle. This candle kept going up and down, flickering, and I decided that, you know what, we're not going to be too greedy. The original targets were up here, so it was like a 1.5 risk to reward ratio. I didn't go for it. I decided to just wrap this trade out at 1 to 3, and then my second trade, I just decided to close this out at 1 to 1. The reason for closing the first trade is I just didn't think that I had the greatest of entry in terms of range, so I decided to call it a day, and then I closed this one. With both trades, I closed 90% of the positions, and I managed to close out on 5% on this gold trade here. It wasn't the greatest, it is what it is, but I'm very grateful that I was able to take this trade. The other two running positions both got stopped out break even. And yes, that is what it is. So that was my trade on gold. Best idea was this retest entry here, which I did not manage to get into, unfortunately. So let me not make you think that I did, but whoever was able to take advantage of this would have been able to get into a great trading opportunity. So now let's take a look at the markets. The markets are doing some funky things right now. That impulse move yesterday from the dollar, trouble, and I personally don't believe that that's going to be sustainable. So I do believe that we're going to see a continuation down on those markets there, a correction on those markets there. Do you listen, my friend? Are you listening carefully to what I'm saying? I said I closed both positions at 90% take profit, and then the two runners hit break even. Right. So now looking at pound USD, the idea behind pound USD for me is this. We either have a correction of this move back up to a retest level in the market, which is this level here around 38.22, and if the market sustains a break above this level, then I do believe that we can continue higher. This is only an 18 pip range, so this is mainly going to be trade for or be tradable for intraday traders, I guess, as opposed to swing traders, because the overall sentiment of the market seems pretty bearish, but current behavior is bullish. But if you're a breakout trader like myself or a retest trader like myself, then you can look for potential retests above 38.04 to see this market continuing higher. And the idea would be to see the correction of this move back to the upside to at least 50% of the previous candle. This is how the market moves. More often than not, price would be attracted to the previous 50% of the impulsive move, whether that be a gap down or a gap up or a strong bearish candle to the downside or bullish candle to the upside. So for the New York session, let's see how this can sustain a close above, maybe on the hourly or 30-minute time frame, to for us to be able to identify that bullish sentiment and then look for that move up. As I said, we was looking for the previous candle to close bullish to look for the immediate breakout. And if you can see here, if that had happened, what you normally will get from this is this kind of formation. So if the previous candle sustained, so this is a current move, if the previous candle sustained a nice indecision or a bullish close, then this is how the final targets would have looked on this based on the range of this 4H candle. It's just a shame that it did pull back to 37.78 there. But I think this is a great idea, and this is definitely something you could be looking for, at least for targets back to 38.22 on pound USD. At the moment, there's nothing to support sells here, so anybody looking for sells, I think your best bet is for the retest or for price to get out of this consolidation from the structural lows here at 37.78. There's no sell buy sentiment here at the moment. Next pair we'll take a look at is Aussie dollar JPY. Now this impulsive move again was off of the back of news yesterday, 100%. Now the best tradable opportunities on this market this morning were breaks above these structural highs, because what you're anticipating is when the market creates a lower high here, especially on the hourly time frame, you have this strong move to the downside, and then you have a lower high that forms. You anticipate the market continue bearish to make the new lower low. Once the market corrects this move and starts to push bullish, breaking above previous structural highs, what you then expect to see the market do is correct the whole move back to at least 50%. So the idea was, if you take buys above the 82, 87 level, you're good to go back to the retest level where the consolidation was broken. And as you can see here, that's where you get the reaction from. But if the market starts to break above this level, then there's a very high chance during the New York session where the volume steps into the market that this market can continue pushing bullish back up to some of these structural highs, or at least correct this move back to 50%, where you're going to find the traffic. So I think this is a great idea, especially for your higher time frame traders and intraday traders, to look for the retest of 83.15 and then potentially look to see this market continue pushing higher. Now, pound JPY, as I said, I've mentioned this already, as we have pushed bullish, I do believe now if we can sustain this bullish move and start breaking above 152.94, we can see this market pushing higher back up to 153.31 today. There is a lot to support the pound strength, especially when you go over here now to pound USD. You're seeing that pound strength step into the market. You're also seeing this yen weakness over here. And now you're starting to see off the back of this rejection, which indicates bearish sentiment, the bulls have stepped back into the market. So at the moment where I am trying to identify what is happening with pound yen, and the idea would be to see correction of this move back to a retest level, current 4H candle bullish, previous 4H candle rejecting, identifying bearish behavior, but failing to continue that bearish move down. And I believe once we break above 152.94, a nice close above, and a strong momentum shift from the New York session, we should see this market back to 150. See this market push back up to 153.31. That is a huge move of about 37 pips, and yes, we would be laughing if that does get back there. Now, USD Swiss franc, I have put this one on a back burner. The reason why is because it's too wicky. We've just broken a consolidation. We're holding the highs of that consolidation, and we're also holding the previous break of the last consolidation here at 92.48. You have to understand that during this phase, buyers and sellers are at a tug of war. During this phase, buyers and sellers are at a tug of war, and during this phase, buyers and sellers are at a tug of war. Now, if that means that they're at a tug of war, we need to figure out what is strong, what is weak. At the moment, we can't identify dollar strength. We also cannot identify Swiss franc strength. And there's nothing fundamentally to support why either of this market condition should be bullish or bearish. Hence the reason why we've been consolidating. So once you bring two weak currency pairs together or two strong currency pairs together, you will find that the markets will just move sideways. And it's very important for you to understand that, because it will really help you with identifying potential pairs to be trading for that day. If we understood that the dollar was really weak, then we can look for sells, where this bias is leaning towards more to, because we're seeing from Euro USD and Pound USD that it's more bullish than bearish. However, until it's confirmed, I think the best thing to do is to let USD Swiss franc go. And until you get a clear directional bias, which would be a break of the major lows or potentially a break of the major highs, you have to identify that this market condition is in a range. So step out, let it go, and wait for cleaner or better opportunities. Now, Aussie dollar USD should sustain a bullish move today, and the reason for that is two reasons. A correction of yesterday's previous move, Monday's news, which highlighted Aussie dollar strength, and the consensus of the market, which is not indicating dollar strength either. The level we need to be careful of is 75.14, simply because this is a previous level in the market where price had to break to turn this market bearish, and currently now can act as a resistance level for a continuation down. With the current behavior of the market pushing bullish, we need a close above 75.14, either using the hourly time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute, whatever you choose to use. You can look for your immediate breakouts, retests, or continuations, whatever it's you use. But I think the level we need to be concerned about is 75.14, and look for those clean breakout and retest for continuations higher on these market conditions. Aussie dollar is showing more signs of strength, and I think that it only makes sense that we continue to wait for that to develop, okay? Now, let's take a look at our next pair. USD JPY, again, I've just spoken about this. I don't think that this is a great pair to be trading right now. The reason for that is because the consensus of the market has been illustrating that the dollar's been weak since Monday. Well, not even since Monday, since last week. We've had this movement to the downside here, and as you can see, the markets have been pushing bearish. Yesterday we had an impulsive move which moved these markets continuing down, but now we have a correction to the upside, which is making no sense. So I'm wondering now if the market conditions, because of the no signs of strength with the dollar or 100% strength with the yen, are we just going to enter a range bound market where the markets are just going to be moving sideways and doing nothing? If that's the case, then I think the best trading opportunities are going to be break above 110.99 or a break below 110.40, just to get a good idea of the market sentiment and try to wait and see where we can get concrete evidence of dollar strength or yen strength. And at the moment we don't have it, so I think the best thing to do is wait patiently for this to happen. Now, euro yen makes a lot of sense that we'll continue bullish today, at least back to 130, 128. And the reason why I say that again is because we're identifying yen weakness. We're not necessarily identifying euro strength, but the impulsive move to the downside again seems like it's going to correct. And if it does correct, then we'll get that correction back to 130, 128, which makes sense because there's no traffic to the left here, and this will act as the resistance level if the market does decide to continue pushing bullish. So now we've sustained the close above 130.84. There's a few ways to approach this. You look for the retest of this level for the continuation higher, or you look for your patterns and your processes above some of these intraday levels where the resistance forms to then see a continuation back up to 130, 128. Next pair we'll take a look at is USD CAD. Now, the idea behind USD CAD is to continue to see this pushing bearish because we understand that the market sentiment at the moment is showing signs of dollar weakness, and yesterday's impulsive move also can be corrected. If we do close below this level, which we have, which is the 24.56 level here, and a close below, then there's a very high chance that we're going to continue pushing bearish today. Now, if the market creates a resistance or a support, this is a good sign for us, because then what we can look for during the New York session is a level of resistance where price is created. You also can identify the intraday range, and then what you can do is you can look for price to break this level in line with the 4H time frame, the structure of the market and the momentum, and then look for those retest continuations down. Now, of course, just like we saw yesterday, some markets will play out as planned or anticipated, and others will absolutely do nothing or do the opposite. If the market conditions do not play out according to how you anticipate them to play out, which is your plan, then the best thing to do, guys and ladies, is to just step away from the markets. Because the more confidences you add to your trade, the more probabilities you have, and then the more probabilities you have, the higher chance you are going to have succeeding as a trader in the long run. The more you just take your trades based on willy-nilly support and resistance, break and retest, breakouts, or whatever patterns you trade, the higher chance you're going to find yourself losing and giving back money to the market. So, as I said, if it plays out the way you planned it, take the trade. If it doesn't, then step away from the markets. Next pair we'll take a look at is Euro USD. Now, the idea again behind Euro USD is to identify potentially what could be dollar weakness. And if the market starts to break above, let's say, the 1830 level, then we could potentially look for continuation buys. Now, I did mention, I believe the range back to the consolidation where the previous breakout and break back in happened, you're going to find a lot of resistance. So I think the best plan of action with Euro USD is to see the markets close above 1843. And once we start getting the break above that level, then we'll start to see the shift in structure. The retest level will be invalidated, and then the momentum will support what could be continuation buys, at least back up to the high of the consolidation, which is at 1878. So I think this is the level that we want to be looking out for if we're going to look to take buys, and that will be a break above 1843. Now, we spoke about gold. We've come back to the retest level at 1794 here. I do believe that we're going to see this continue pushing higher. And my idea today would just to be to take advantage of a small move. And I'm going to be looking for price to come back to 1812 for potential trading opportunities, if given the opportunity based on my patterns and processes. And if it doesn't get there today, then I will just wait patiently for price to create a break above 1812.55 through the Asian session, and then look to see this continue higher to 1822. Hopefully I don't miss the move, because I've already missed one of the moves here. I took advantage of the buys here, missed this move here, and then hopefully I can get into a move on the way up for the New York session. We shall see. So for me, what's on the watch list today, I'm going to be watching Aussie dollar JPY for these buying opportunities above these highs here, as I mentioned. GJ, I'm going to be looking for price to continue pushing higher to 153.31 with a nice close above this level here. I'm not worried about price rejecting it. I'll be more than happy to take the buy on the break of these highs here. That will be completely fine. If the market starts to show signs of momentum and continuations during the high peak sessions, which is going to be the New York session here, and then USD CAD, I believe we can continue bearish on this market structure based on the 4H candle close. If we start breaking below these lows here, we should see this lower. So that's the ideas behind those trading opportunities there for Aussie dollar yen, Aussie dollar USD. Did we check this one? Yes, it's the same as Aussie dollar yen and everything else. Pound USD, a little bit concerned about, even though I do think it can continue bullish. Just the range is very small here. And Euro USD, I do believe we can continue bullish, but again, the range is very small. So just be very careful with these two here. So that will be my analysis for the markets this morning. Let's take a look at some of the questions here in the chat. Yeah, the most of this analysis is for the New York session here. Let me see this a second. Taking questions. Just pop a question behind the back of your questions. Pound USD. We've just gone over Pound USD. I just mentioned what we're looking for. Gold. Euro USD is an obvious sell. Okay, well done. Well done, my friend. Take your trade. The sessions is not about me proving myself right or you proving yourself right. If you're comfortable in your own skin, you don't have to air it out. What time frames do I trade? So I trade the 4H time frame down. You're welcome. Yeah, I've gone over Euro USD, but I'll go over that again. I don't focus on currency chart index, no. I trade my own money, Jack. I trade my own money, mate. What is the best confirmation for entry? There's no best confirmation. I mentioned what I like to look for personally myself, which of course is going to be the indecision candles, the depletion candles, and the momentum candles. Fundamentals, I don't incorporate too much into my trading personally. I just like to understand the consensus of the market, and if the consensus of the market falls in line with the overall technical analysis, then I'd follow it and incorporate it in my trading. But if not, then I don't focus on it too much. Backtesting is the most important thing for sure. I personally don't believe until you have put in the work. I normally mention to my members to make sure that you're putting in at least 100 trades before you even write a plan. I think is the most important thing that you could be focusing on here. These markets are moving higher, boy. This is great. Long term for GJ. Well, I'm not a long term trader, am I? I'm a day trader. So my plan is to get in and out of the markets, make my money, and that's it. Bob's your uncle, right? In terms of overall sentiment, bias to this market, it's pointing downwards based on the breaks of these previous levels, but you have to understand this is an impulsive move down, which more than likely is going to be corrected. So if price comes back to 153 and it respects this level, then of course, you can anticipate the retest continuation down. But based on the structure of this market and the current status of this candle right now, I believe that if price can hold above 152.70, then there's a high chance we're going to continue bullish, at least for the rest of today or this week. So I'm not worried about the sell-buy sentiment at the moment. I'm more focused on the buy-buy sentiment, and that's what I'll be looking for. Yeah, I look at Forex Factory as well. I just check the news and the results of the news. That's what I focus on. USD for meeting minutes. Anything that's red news, including FOMC meeting minutes, I think is very important that you're managing your trade if you're in a trade. And if you're not in a trade, then avoiding trading it. I'm not a big fan of trading news, to be brutally honest with you. Okay. Would you close a trade before fundamental news kicks in? I think I kind of touched on that. I wouldn't close it. I'd probably manage it more than anything. You like the USD analysis? Yeah, I think the USD analysis is pretty decent, to be honest with you. I think if the market can sustain trading below 24.56, it does look like it can continue down. There's not much traffic here to be working with. The overall market conditions are showing signs of dollar weakness, and if this CAD can sustain this bearish pressure here from the previous movement, then there's a high chance we will continue down. So let's see what happens there. This range of this GJ candle is already pushed beautifully, man. Damn. Okay. Euro USD for scalp now. What scalp? I mean, if price is trapped between this range, what scalp are you looking for? I personally wouldn't scalp it. If you're scalping it, you're going to look for sells, right? Because you're at resistance. But I personally don't trade like this. I would be waiting for a cleaner momentum shift in the market. My levels on gold. My levels on gold were drawn since yesterday, so I don't know if you enjoyed the session. But once price breaks out of a major level in the market with a very strong push phase like this, there's a very high chance that price is going to pull back. It's just the simple phases of market structure. So if price pushes, it has to pull back. And the levels where it's going to pull back to are going to be a couple of levels. It's going to be the higher lows, it's going to be the retest levels, or it's going to be the levels where price broke a consolidation. They're the three levels price is going to pull back to. When I say price pull back to and those three levels, what I mean by that is that there's a very high chance that price will respect these levels based on past history. Okay? Based on past history. Okay? And from my data and my back testing and my current way of trading, consolidations, if it's breaking out, this is where price is coming back to. If it's a clean trend, higher low, this is where price should respect. And if price breaks these highs, then it should respect the retest level. And then that's how I personally trade it, okay? How many pips do I catch per trade? I'm not into pips. Pips lies, percentage doesn't, so I don't focus on pips. Thank you. I've mentioned Euro USD. It's currently ranging at the moment, so waiting for a clear breakout. Do I have spreadsheet? I do have spreadsheets and a lot of them, but I don't. That's a lot of work, my friend. I don't just hand it out like that. Rock's thinking of joining your academy, just waiting for email back. Okay, admin should get through to you. USD has breakout. Can we look for a retest? Well, I've just mentioned what I told you what I'm looking for here on GJ, right? And I already mentioned to you what I'm looking for here on USD CAD. So now it's down to you to follow your trading plan and your strategy, and then look for your trading ideas. Khaled, no, I haven't had a mentor. Okay, news important, Panama support. I'm following from your last 6 months and learned a lot. I'm glad to hear that, man. Show my analysis on gold. I've shown it loads of times. This was the analysis on gold, the retest buys over here, or retest back to, we can remove these levels now, or retest at 1794 back to 1812. You should have been in gold already. I gave this analysis yesterday. That's a good question there. Somebody mentioned something about intraday. I don't know where it's gone. Oh, Rock, is safe to say trade intraday and swing at the same time? Well, look, I mean, how do you interpret intraday? How do you interpret swing trading? I mean, is me not holding my trade on the 1 minute time frame to a risk reward ratio of 1 to 10 a swing trade? You know, does it have to be the 4H time frame or daily to be a swing trade? I don't think so. I just think it's a matter of holding your trades for a longer period of time than you normally would, and that could be 5 minute trade for a 1 to 10, or it can be a 10-hour trade for 1 to 10. Either way, you're still swinging that position, because scalpers normally go for like 1 to 1, or they might trade the spreads, or they might just go for a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 for an intraday trader. So I don't know, man. I don't know how you interpret swing trading, but that's how I see it. I think the best question you should ask is, you know, what type of trader am I? Am I the type of trader that can hold his trades for hours and days, and I don't like to be at the charts continually? And if that's the case, then you will swing trade your trades on higher time frames. Whereas if you're like one of my mentors in the RoxFX Academy, I would call her a swing trader, but she uses the 1 minute time frame to hold her positions to crazy moves like 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 10, and she swings basically the 1 minute time frame. The other thing you need to factor in is, if you swing, there's more likely a chance that price will, there's more likely a chance there's more likely a chance there's more likely a chance when you're swing trading that price will you'll have more losing and break-even trades than you would somebody who's an intraday trader. But based on the fact that you take bigger risk to reward, there's a high chance that you will make money in the long run. And if you're an emotional type of person, then you don't want to be at the charts. That's the best road to go down. If you're not, and you're like me, you prefer just get in and out of the markets and, you know, Bob's your uncle, then you intraday or you scalp and you just hold it for 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. How many trades do I take a day? Usually 1 or 2. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Sorry. Rocks. Okay, fine. Here we go. Rocks, is the news more important or pattern most important? I think patterns are only as important as the structure and behavior is of the market. And in terms of news, I wouldn't factor in patterns during news periods. I much prefer to see the market create the structure and behavior first, and then incorporate the news to identify after that the consensus of the market can continue in that direction. That's kind of the way I approach it. 100 pips stop loss, 100 pip TP, 100 pip stop loss. How many trades do you take a day? 100. I don't know what you're talking about, Rico. How long have I been trading? No, you've asked me that question. 8 years now, and I haven't had a mentor. When a 4H time frame breaks above either resistance or support and leave a wick, do you till another 4H candle close below? No, not necessarily. Daniel, I will be happy to take an immediate breakout if that happens in some instances, and you can apply it to any time frame. But it really just depends on the market conditions, identifying a real strength in a currency or a real weakness in the currency, and then just go from there. But if it leaves a wick, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and I'll show you an example right now. GJ, man. GJ. Keep going. I'll show you an example right now look here. So we called buys out this morning on the live session. When we was doing analysis, and the idea was once this candle closes with an indecision or slightly bullish, we take the breakout buys up. But if you look here, is it Daniel? You will see that the market rejected this level. Now, let's just say as an example, if this candle closed with an indecision or wick rejection and closed with a small bearish candle or bullish candle here, then I would have taken the immediate breakout of this trade. But where the price pulls back to 37.78 because of this wick rejection, the range from here to here is so big. And what that means is that I lose a lot of the buying power because the markets have pushed so much already. So the best thing for me to do now is probably wait for price to close because I've missed the range of this candle, and then look for the retest back to these highs. Okay, that's kind of how I would approach it with my trading. And GJ is going. GJ is flying. Let's go, man. Let's go, baby, GJ. So let's go. Okay, fine. So yeah, that's how I'll approach it. How many okay, why am I succeeding with this in autopilot but I only lose trade live? What? Why am I successful in my backtesting? Even because you're not dealing with the emotional aspect and the psychological aspect of trading live, which means holding your trades for long periods of time, having to wait for your trades, managing your trades live as opposed to pressing the next button. The only way to get over this is just to continue executing and continuing to execute and continuing to execute and continuing to execute. Everybody wants to know how much money somebody is making. I much prefer to find out how many trades you've taken. You know the 10,000 hour rule? You can become professional in most areas if you invest 10,000 hours into it. I think in trading, you need to be hitting those 10,000 trades. If you're not hitting 10,000 trades, you're in trouble. How long did it take for me to become confident in my trading plan? A long time, because I didn't stick to my trading plan. I kept changing it around, going from one thing to the next, and I wish I just stuck to it, but I didn't, and that's what caused me a massive delay in my personal trading. So I'm coming to you with my experience as a trader, and my advice to you is to make sure that you are following your plan to the T for a very long period of time. The pairs that I'm trading, they are the pairs with the most volume during the periods that I trade. These pairs outside of these are just low volume pairs, and then the rest is whatever. Okay. Does the way I trade need a lot of knowledge? No, it doesn't. You just need to make sure you practice it every day. Forex, I really love your analysis. It's been quite helpful, but I still struggle pulling the trigger. I need to help you. No, the only way to get over pulling the trigger is to build confidence and faith. And the only way to build confidence and faith is just to execute. 0.01 your way until you start building that confidence and faith in your own trading. You have to just execute, man. You're too worried about passing challenges, passing trials, trying to make money, trying to be right all the time, trying to be perfect with your analysis, and that's why you're struggling. You need to just pull the trigger. The more you practice pulling the trigger, the better you're going to become at what you do, and then that in turn will build the faith and confidence you need to continue to succeed. Okay. Where's my purple gone off this? Right. When Forex breaks either resistance, support, and these are okay. I've answered that. Am I still focusing on the 1 minute? I do trade the 1 minute as well. Yes, with my concept. Supply and demand, I don't know nothing about it. Thanks for your... Okay, you're welcome. You'll probably just tell people watch the stream back to avoid answering the question about the gold trade. Nah, man. I don't mind answering the questions back for a few times. Yeah, I just mentioned I've got a bit of a chesty cough. I think I'm coming down with a chest infection, but it is what it is. Do I think the consolidation on Aussie dollar JPY will be a problem or something to keep an eye on? So Aussie dollar JPY, the consolidation here, yeah, definitely 1000% is going to be a problem. This is traffic to the left here, and this is an area where buyers and sellers were at a tug of war. That means that price can reject any part of this level whenever it decides to reject it. So I think price sustaining a close above this level will give us confidence to take buys. But if we start to reject it, then probably not. So you can look to take immediate trades on the breakout, on the retest, whatever patterns you trade. It's really up to you. But what you need to see is price sustain holding above this level here. And at the moment, it's doing pretty well. There's not much volume in the market. We're going to need to wait another 45 minutes pre-New York before we start seeing some volume. So I'd be a bit patient with this. It is pointing in the right direction. And as I said, if it does start to hold these levels, then we can see this market continue higher. GJ is absolutely blessing the moves right now. And I'll be very, very satisfied if the market can just push a little bit higher on this one. From here, if we can push just maybe to around this level here, that would be very, very, very juicy. Very juicy. Come on, I don't even want to watch it. I just want to hear it. Fine. Let's continue. Anything on EU at the moment? As I said, this is a status of EU right now. Drink water. Okay, let's drink some water. GU, I've mentioned GU. I think if you're not in buys, you should have been in buys already. The break of 38.04. I mentioned target levels on this are going to be the structural high, which is targets, or at least management levels, is going to be the structural high. Because I don't see how price is going to break above this level with the range of the 4H candle pushing so strong and price pushing into this level. So I don't know. I don't know where you can be at with GU at the moment. I think that's the final destination, and if you're not in it, you're just not in it. But this was my bias, and this is what's happening. What's your advice, binary options traders? I know very successful binary options traders, but the industry doesn't support binary option traders, and these companies out here, no matter how reputable they are going to suck you for your money. You start making money in their platforms, they're going to shut you down, or they're going to limit you to what you can take out of the markets. Oh my gosh, look at gold. Look at gold and look at GJ. Question is, do I take profits now or do I hold to that level? That is the big question. Do I take profits or do I hold? And that would be a 15 pip move, currently 10 pips. Do I hold or do I take profits? Do I hold? Do I take profits? Do I hold? Do I take profits? And I think I'm taking profits. Okay, that's a wrap. There's a wrap on that one. The reason why I took profits on that one now, on that breakout, is because, you know, my thought process on this is this, right? Even though I still think it can continue back up to 153.30, my thought process is this, and I'll tell you why I took profits on that now. I'm looking for price to push bullish into this level. Once price pushes strong into this level, I'm looking for price to break above it. Once price breaks above it, then the idea now is for me to see this continue up to 153.30. Once this continues up to 153.30, I'm looking for price to create the bullish sentiment. And once it creates that bullish sentiment, I'm then looking for it to continue. Okay, so this is the idea behind the trade. And then I'm looking for price to at least give me a return of 1-to-1. If I'm planning to close trades, right? Which is this. This is not the best risk to reward ratio, but I'll tell you why you will take profits in this instance, which I did. Because every 4H candle has a range, okay? Every 4H candle has a range. Now, once this range is created here on the 4H time frame, I mean, I don't even know I should be telling you this, but I will, because I'm in a good mood. Because I hit my take profit on GJ. But listen, every candle has a range, okay? And once that range is met on these candles, okay, the average range. So I told you about yesterday, average true range, which I don't use. I just use price action. What we're looking to see the market do is one or two things during this stage. Sustain this range of that candle, to retrace, or to absolutely shoot higher. Yeah? That's all that can happen. 3 scenarios. 3 structures, 3 scenarios. Damn. Damn. I have to be grateful, man. I have to be grateful. Have to be grateful. Anyway, so yeah, so it can do that, right? It can push the range and reject, or it can push and hold, or it can fly higher. Okay? So in this instance, when I'm looking at this, if I don't hit the range of this 4H candle on the breakouts here, or here, or here, I lose range entering it higher. Okay? So once it moves higher, I then have to make a decision. Do I continue to hope that it continues to push higher, or do I close the trade with whatever profits I'm planning to close the trade? And I planned to close the trade, which I did. I could have held it, god damn it. The old choo-choo train, yes. Should I have held GJ? Well, I made my money. That's all that matters, right? I made my money. Should I have held it? Well, of course, but I didn't. And it just is what it is. This is like 17, 18 pips now after the break of this high. The analysis is made from the 4H all the time, yes. Thank you. Okay, so. Man. So at this stage, right, when you take profit and you plan to hold it for longer, at least 15 pips, because I closed out at like 11 pips here, you plan to hold it longer, you do feel bummed out. Oh, man. You do feel bummed out. You feel bummed out. But, you know, it is what it is. If I held it, I could have held on to another 10 pips there. But it is what it is, traders. And now at this stage, when you go through these, you know, when you start to feel emotional about it, then the best thing to do is just call it a day and walk away. I entered at 152.93. 152.93. And I close at 153.045. Why do I think GJ would retrace now? I mean, we've smashed above the level, which is 152.70. And then the level that I wanted to take the trade was a break of this level here. Okay. In fact, it was 152.93. And from that break, I mean, it's moved 20 pips. You know, would it retrace? It certainly can. Though, as I said, the range of the candle was pushed a lot. You just have to see. GU was a great shout as well, back up to these highs here at 38.22. Aussie dollar JPY, we're still waiting for volume to kick in. Pound JPY was solid call there. Aussie dollar Swiss franc ranging. Aussie dollar USD, someone mentioned. So remember what I said, okay? We're going to be wrapping up in 7 minutes. But remember what I said here about this. You need to wait for the previous consolidation areas or lower highs or higher lows to be broken and closed above before taking a trade. Because if you don't, then this is what can happen. You can reject it. So for the New York session, if this now starts to push bullish again, you can look for buys because you have more volume. If not, you're waiting for the market to close above to then look for continuations higher, okay? And that gold, we're waiting for gold to hit 1812. Rico bought GU. My risk to reward ratio on GJ was only 1-to-1. If I held it, I'd have got a 1-to-2, but I didn't hold it. But 1-to-1 will do. Today, it will do. Can you write in English, my friend? If you write in English, I'll be able to respond to you. What pair are you talking about, Joseph? Yeah, at the moment we're doing a live trading session and 3 analysis sessions a week, but that's about to change again. Okay, let's continue with the questions. Rocks, trading during London and New York sessions is part of your rules, or would you take trades outside key out? Never. The amount of times I'm sitting at home or in my office out of my trading hours and I have the urge to want to trade so badly. I have the urge to want to trade so badly, but I don't. I don't ever do it. Ever. I just stay away and just wait for my trading session. And that's the London session and the New York session, and that's it. Because once you trade outside of your trading hours, you absolutely feel useless, especially if you lose a trade. And then what you start to find that you do is you start to validate your day, or your day is predicated on whether you have a winning trade or a losing trade in the morning, and I just can't deal with that. So now I set my rules to trade in certain hours, knowing that outside of those hours I don't have to think about trading again, because otherwise you just become a slave to the markets, and that is just long. Always pay yourself, absolutely. They say pigs get slaughtered, right? You don't want to hold your trades and be greedy. Granted, that GJ trade I could have held longer, but that's a coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? My ultimate aim was to see price come back to 153.30. It does not mean I need to take a 37 pip move up. I didn't just call this trade here on this live session with you guys. I called this trade from this morning, and I spoke about this yesterday. I called this trade this morning with my members on the live session, right? I said this yesterday. If you plan your trade and the markets move in the direction that you plan to take that trade, take it. If it doesn't, then just walk away. You don't lose money, you don't risk money, and just Bob's your uncle, right? You're good to go. If you plan a trade based on the behavior of the market and how you interpret it and how whatever else, and it plays out just like this did, what do? You're supposed to enter it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to win this trade every single time. You can lose it, but there is a very high chance that if you continue to trade like this, that you'll continue to make money in the long run. Do you understand? And that's what it's all about. So personally, my advice to all of you is this. If you stop focusing on trying to make money and focus more on following your plan, making sure you have impeccable risk management and you're sticking to that plan, then there's a very high chance that you're going to make money naturally. Money will just follow. And I say this all the time, you can't chase money. You have to do the legwork, and then the money will follow you. But it will only follow people that are deserving of it. All right? PM, you're not rocks. What? What? I am rocks. What are you talking about? The last time I looked, I was rocks. How often? No, we're not going to go into that. Rocks, to manage your account ground with stability. There's many ways to grow your account, Terry, to be honest with you. And maybe if you specify your question a little bit more, I'll be able to answer it for you. And can I just ask you guys, if you're enjoying the stream, press the like button for me. And if you don't like me, and you think I'm an absolute fraud who trades demo accounts and sells courses and is an absolute retard, hit the dislike button as well. That really helps the algorithm. Yeah? Please do that. Because I'm a fan of pessimists. Because I was once one of them. So if you can kindly hit the dislike button as well as the like button, I'll be very, very appreciative. Rox, please, are we going to get to watch the offline recording later? Absolutely, it'll be uploaded straight away. Do you have a video how you create your own trading plan? Yeah, there's one on YouTube. I'm sure there's one on YouTube. Do you think gold will retest lower levels again? Listen, let me tell you something. The markets are going to retest every single level in this market at some point or another down the line. I mean, you're not getting paid to be an analyst. You get paid to make money, right? And I think personally, what you should be focusing on is what's happening today. If you identify that the behavior of the market had an impulse move down yesterday, we done this analysis on the live session, so we called this trade out yesterday, and you can see that there's a resistance formed and a structural low formed, and you have a bullish structure break above structure here, then what is the most logical plan of action for gold next? Well, the most logical plan of action after the retest and price making new highs is to create a new retest of structure and continue bullish back to these structural highs. It only makes sense. So what can you do in an instance like this? You can wait for the market to create the retest of structure and then enter the trade. Why? Because that's what the behavior is telling you. And then you can target these highs if that's what you want to do. I personally wouldn't. I mean, yeah, actually I would. 1 to 3. And that's it. That's how you trade. And now you're in a very, very nice trade on gold. You could be looking to do whatever you want at this stage. I mean, that's almost 50 pips in profit. You know, a 10 lot on that, you're laughing. And this is how you trade. Why? Because the behavior is telling you bullish, structure is telling you bullish, the retest told you a lot, the break above structure told you a lot, the previous candle close told you a lot, the targets can tell you a lot, the current build of the 4H candle creating the wick first and continuing bullish tells you a lot. You can only anticipate that the market will continue bullish. Okay? GJ, what have we identified? Yen weakness. Where did we identify the yen weakness? Bullish, yen weakness. Euro, yen weakness. Aussie dollar, yen weakness. GJ, yen weakness. What's the idea? Well, if price breaks above 152.70, there's a high chance we continue bullish. But do we want to trade into a resistance level? No. So what do we wait for? You wait for the market to create structure that resembles a bullish formation here, which is this. You identify the behavior into key levels, and then you take the trades. Simple trading. Very, very simple trading. There's not much more to think about here. Very simple trading. And then now you have a trade here that's almost 25 pips on GJ. Where's the final destination here? 153.30. Does it need to get there? No. But the point is, you take your money and you run. I don't know why I just told you all that, but somebody asked a question. I think I answered it. Oh yeah, not to focus on the money, but the process. I think it was because of Terry. I'm not sure. Oh no, that wasn't because of Terry. That was because of somebody else. GU is flying. Of course it's flying. Because there's no sign of dollar strength at the moment, and the markets create a structural level where price fails to break, and on the immediate break of 38.40, you expect it to get back to 38.22. We called that one as well. Thank you for sharing. Okay, fine. Let's keep going. IC markets are phenomenal brokers. Okay, I'm not going to be able to answer all these questions here. What it means, price rockets towards a support or resistance. I just mean if price comes back to a resistance, there's a high chance that it will reject it. Like that. Would you trade indexes? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be putting them on my list soon. No, well, I didn't deny the fact that the actual structure of the market is bearish, but I'm telling you now for a fact that it's the market consensus across the whole board is yen weakness, meaning pound up. Just trust me when I tell you this. You can now look for the retest of 153.31 to look for sells if given the evidence, but at the moment you could have taken advantage of this whole move if you identified that yen weakness and then the confluence between GJ and GU, which is bullish. Very simple trading. Rocks effects. Yeah, it's true. No, because I don't know. 8 years you've been, how many accounts have you blown? Oh, quite a few. Quite a few. I'll be live Monday to Friday. Staking of trades. I don't understand your question. Okay. Okay. No, I'm not doing US 30. How do you find behavior of the market and decide on the entry timeline? To go back over and watch yesterday's stream and you'll see it. Elliott Wave, I don't know what Elliott Wave is. Do I read bar charts? Used to, but not anymore. I just focus on just the current build on the candles itself. Okay. I still can't understand your GJ trade. No worries. You're not supposed to understand everything I do. I've explained it a few times. Everyone's looking for sales in GJ. Okay. Good luck, man. I wish you the best. I really genuinely wish you the best. I'm out of the markets with my GJ buy. and we'll see what USD CAD can bring to the table for the New York session. We'll also take a look at Aussie dollar JPY. I mean, that's breaking really nicely to the highs, and Aussie dollar USD. Let's see if we can get above here. I think the next best move is now looking for USD CAD, see if we can sustain this movement higher, and I think GJ is a wrap, to be brutally honest with you. It was a great move. 25 pips or so. Traders, listen, please hit that like button for me. Traders that don't like me, hit the dislike button, please. And thank you for supporting the stream. I don't trade NFP. I hope you have. Yeah, I have. That's one of my hardest things, holding trades, man. Big time. I have to admit it. I find it very hard to hold trades, but it is what it is. The point is, as long as I'm taking profits and making money, that's what matters. And then over time, as I build more confidence and resilience to the markets, and I'll be able to hold them. But until then, we continue working on ourselves and on our trading. It never ends, traders. It never ends. Rocks, I hit a 1 to 10 yesterday on USD CAD. All thanks to you, your knowledge. Well done, brother. I'm really happy for you, man. Really happy for you. Keep going, baby. A 1 to 10 will that will wrap me up for the month, my friend. I need some of your tips. Figure out how to hold these trades for longer. To become successful, you need to fail for sure, man. Trial and error, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to just continue failing in order to become successful. There is no way you can do it without failing. There's no such thing as hitting the jackpot. There's not. Maybe for 1 or 2 people here and there, but no. For the majority of us, it is blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears. So traders, I wish you a great New York session here. We had some great calls. Again, I'm not a signal provider, and I only do live trading with my community. So I'm not going to be taking live trades here, but we had some great calls off of GJ. I hope some of you got into some of these gold trades yesterday. I really do hope you was able to take advantage of USD JPY sells and Euro Yen sells off of yesterday's call. USD CAD, let's see what happens today with the continuation down. That'll be really interesting. GJ, I think I'm done with. That 4H candle has pushed its range. Remember what I said, once it pushes its range, there's a high chance that it will reject. GU, just be careful of. I think if you haven't taken this trade from the bottom, that's also finished for the New York session. Aussie dollar yen, interesting. Don't really trade it at all. But let's see what happens. Prefer to take Aussie dollar USD if we can get a close above. And then gold, let's see if we can continue higher to 18.12. Maybe final targets this week to 18.22. Other than that, I'll just ask you one more time, if you're new to this live session or to my channel, please subscribe, turn on notifications, hit the like button. And until next time, everybody, continue to trust the process. Goodbye now.